War Eagle, War Report family, I'm your host, C-Dub, and today's live show is brought to you by the good and generous folks over at GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. For more information on them, please be sure to check them out at gwt2energy.com. The weekend tailgate starts right now.
You are now listening to the unmistakable sound of the War Report Weekend Tailgate. It's your boy, I Jones. Be real, C-Dub, Mike G. Get ready, sit on back as we bring you the War Report Weekend Tailgate.
Yes, indeed, War Eagle, Auburn family. Welcome to the best tailgate there is on the internet and online. Probably the best tailgate, period, without food. The War Report
Okay,
Weekend.
yeah, for sure. Without food, yeah.
Indeed. Please come on in here. Please get on in here. Do the necessary. Smash that like button. Drop a War Eagle in the comments. We see some of you guys doing that already. Please be sure to also drop your city and state if you haven't done so already, especially if you're not part of the Auburn family. We still want to hear from you guys. And also share the video. And please add us if you're on Twitter. Add us at The War Report. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, please hashtag TWR Tailgate and hashtag Get Your Weight Up. That helps us out a ton. Let people know that we're out here dropping great content in the off season, and we out here working in the off season. Y'all only realize how tough it is to come up with great content for you guys. So share this information and help us out. We will greatly appreciate it. Now, we got a great week of content prepared for you guys. All right, we got some good stuff coming up. And Mike G has all the details about it.
Yeah, listen, I got hell of announcements, so buckle in. Listen, we're gonna start with we're doing another giveaway today for a Bo Jackson Kansas City Royals baseball card. This is donated to us by Dirt Road Outfitters. That's my man, No Risk, No Rewards. In the comment section, one of our most prolific commenters and channel members. So he donated some cards that we're giving away to you guys. We're going to do a drawing. To enter the drawing, all you got to do is drop a hashtag GOATRB. That's GOATRB in the comments. It's the greatest of all time running back, which he certainly is, in the comments to enter that. At the 1 hour mark, we're gonna pull a name live on screen. Ike is gonna show you guys the process to maintain the integrity of such, and we'll go from there. But listen, drop a hashtag GoRB in the chat to enter that drawing for the end of the broadcast. Other than that, listen, become an insider. I'm going to tell you guys why in a second, but $5.99 will get you there. We appreciate all your support. This is a great way to support our content and keep us viable in terms of being able to produce more content for you guys. We're coming with it 4 to 5 times a week here. So I know you guys appreciate it. I see you guys in the comment sections on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, sharing our stuff. Please continue to do that. As Caesar says, our merch store is live. You can get your War Report merch. This is a great way to get your weight up. Quality stuff here. And we're also officially partnered with the Lee County Humane Society. So as our platform grows, so does our social responsibility. We want to make sure that we're putting some good back out in the world. This is how we've chosen to do so. So we have legally partnered with them to raise money. 50 cents on every dollar that you donate to this GoFundMe goes to the Humane Society to help them help rescue animals, find a home, take care of them. They're bringing animals in off the streets, hurt, sick, and then rehoming them. As a beneficiary of the love of a rescue animal myself, I know Ike has, rescue. I can tell you that I can't put a price on the love that I get from my animal. And I know that you guys want to help somebody else find that sort of peace in their life as well, too. So this is a great way to do that. You can hit that GoFundMe. Thank you to some of our members who have already donated quite a bit of money to this campaign. We certainly appreciate you guys. Interviews. Listen, we released a interview with Brad LaRondo. He is the Associate Athletic Director at Auburn and the football chief of staff under Harsin. We asked Brad one question. Who is Brian Harsin? Help us out here. And you don't want to miss this interview. It is live for our members already. Brad took some time to sit down and talk with us about, what kind of culture Harsin is going to be bringing into the Plains. This has been much debated on the interwebs, on social media, on Facebook about what will the culture be moving forward. If you want your answer, please go check out this interview. We release it tomorrow for the rest of the members. Insiders, you got it now. And our interview with Josh Pate is still running, man. The support for this interview has been overwhelming. We appreciate you guys. Josh shared his thoughts on Auburn football as well, too. It was a great interview, just to give us some perspective, unbiased third party kind of looking in at what we've done and what we have to do moving forward. So that being said, last but certainly not least, Wednesday War Room. A lot of you have been clamoring for recruiting news. And while we do not claim to be recruiting experts, we do know the experts. So Jeffrey Lee is coming on to talk to us about recruiting. So you don't want to miss this. Any questions that you have about recruiting, we've got a lot of things going that we're going to talk about some of that today. But we've got a lot of things going on in the portal. And everybody wants to know, hey, man, is TJ Finley coming to Auburn, right? What's up with Kaufman? We just got Tony Fair from UAB. Listen, Jeffrey is coming to give us the scoop on portal news. So this will be our Wednesday night war room. You don't want to miss that. Share that out on social media. Make sure your friends, your mama, your grandmama, everybody jumps on to this live. It's going to be a lot of fun with Jeffrey.
Appreciate that, Mike G. And listen, before we get into it, I know we don't really highlight a lot of the comments like we used to, but we see the commenters. We just want to shout out a few of you guys that we appreciate a great deal. Shout out Auburn Dad for life. I see you, Blake Robinson. Lisa Wise is in here. Lisa Wise had some issues this weekend, and we were able to work with her, get her going, and we're glad that she has her issues resolved. James Coleman, we see you in here. James Barnett, Spicy Penguin, all the way from Orange County, California. We see you, man. Appreciate you. Largwin, hey, we love you, man, for supporting, man. Appreciate you for supporting us, man. We see Keontae, who's one of our day ones in here. Shout out to you, my brother. Risk No Reward, we see you in here. It's a bunch of y'all commenting. Drop in hashtag GOATRBs in here. We see you guys. We appreciate you. Playboy D, few other people, man, and let's get ready to have a great show, man. Let's get and a lot has happened. A lot has happened since our last live. Not a lot, but we have had some movement in the transfer portal. So again, let's talk about it. Auburn got a commit last week, leading up to the weekend. We got a kid out of Southeast Missouri State, Bydarrius Knighten. This kid is a 6 foot, 200-pound, approximately safety nickel. He was a 4-year starter at the previously mentioned school. He was second team All Ohio Valley Conference in 2019, and he has 1 year of eligibility remaining. This kid is from Tunica, Mississippi, so he's kind of close. His family is close, and I'm pretty sure that was definitely a selling point. This will actually address some depth issues that we do have. Of course, we do know we did have a departure out of our secondary in recent weeks, so he helps to kind of address that. But we also kind of thin with Tennyson moving to safety. We're kind of thin in terms of depth at the nickel position. So he looks to actually potentially fill that role as well. This kid had offers from Kansas State. He had offers from Louisville, offers from Mississippi State, Purdue, Utah, etc. So that's pretty much the high level of this kid. I watched some film of him this morning. And of course, we'll get B. Will and Mike G's perspective as well. But I watched a lot of film on this kid. And I came away kind of impressed by what I saw. Now, again, one of the things that Ike preaches on this show is cautious optimism when you're looking at highlight reels from a potential recruit or commit, because it's just that, a highlight reel. We don't know what he looks like when he misreads a play or miss a tackle. No one throws that on a person's highlight reel to get recruited. But what I did see from him is I saw a guy who has really good ball skills. I saw a guy who did a good job of diagnosing what the offense was trying to do and just react. He covers good ground. He's not afraid of contact, obviously, because he's playing down in the nickel. He's playing close to the line of scrimmage. He's not shy away from contact. He's doing those necessary things. This kid is who I think he'll fit in quite nicely with the guys we already have in our secondary because he's kind of the similar mold. But I want to ask you, not GI, but Ike, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on this kid? Because you're the player breaker downer person, so maybe you're seeing things that I'm not seeing. So what are your thoughts on our latest commitment in Bydarrius?
Yes. I mean, a lot of what you saw, same stuff. I think one of the things that I liked most about watching his film was his willingness to throw his body in there. And he is, again, from the highlights, a good open field tackler, right? Like he was one-on-one with running backs, wide receivers pretty often on a lot of those plays in space, and not just in beating them to the point where it's like they catch the ball and he's on them immediately, but like they've had an opportunity to square up and get downhill, and he's the only guy preventing them from getting a longer gain, and he's able to get them to the ground. So a guy who you can trust to be in open field against an athlete on the edge is somebody who you want to be in your secondary. That's one of the things when Auburn did not have good defenses and were giving up a lot of chunk plays. That's what you would see often. Secondary players not able to consistently get out there and make open field tackles. And that leads to a lot of long plays when your guys at the second and third level can't get somebody on the ground, especially when it's out there on the edge, because, you know, that's the furthest that anybody has to come cover, right? So if your DB can't get to them, you know, or your safety can't come down and make that tackle, who's going to, you know, somebody's got to come all the way across field. That's 20, 30 yards away. Even his effort when he was the safety on the opposite side of the field to come chase down a couple of stuff. Right. I liked what I saw in his speed, his play recognition, his willingness again to tackle and get a guy on the ground. And like you said, the ball skills. I saw the ball skills. They were there when he was having to cover on the deep ball. He's rangy, right? Like he was from one side to the other pretty often. Or playing from the hash to the sideline and being able to make up a lot of that ground. He's pretty fluid in the hips as well. I don't know. There's not a lot that I saw, again, from highlights that I didn't like. I'd love to see, you know, maybe a full game of him just to be able to watch everything, but I did like what I saw in the highlight reel.
Definitely. Talk to me, Mike G. What are your thoughts, man?
Listen, they're bringing in talent. We're loaded. And I just want to say that it's a great time to be a defensive back at Auburn University. Because I'll tell you one thing that we're bringing back. I've said it before. I've said it again. I'll say it right now. The pass rush is coming back. Pressure on the quarterback is going to be a thing next year. And if you are defensive back in our system, you're going to eat, right? You're going to get some balls thrown at you. You're going to get some ducks coming out of that offensive backfield from Dylan Brooks and all these guys getting pressure on the quarterback. I expect freshmen to contribute, and how that plays in for these one-year guys that we're bringing in at DB is that they're going to have opportunities to show off. Now, if our coaches are bringing in a guy with 1 year of eligibility, they must be really, really high on him,
right?
Because there's no shortage of talent in that defensive backfield. So I feel good. But you know what? Here's the thing. No matter how deep you think you are, add one more guy to the roster, right? Because you're just a few bad players away from having no depth. How many times have we seen it? You know, on other teams, even at quarterback, where the starter gets injured, the backup gets injured, and then suddenly you're on your third quarterback who you had no plan for. You know, that happens at other positions too, right? Yeah. This is the SEC, man. It's physical. I think that, you know, the coaches are thinking we cannot have enough right now. You know, they're dealing with, you know, we've experienced some attrition at other positions. Defensive backfield is the one that I haven't really been that worried about. But I really, really think if they're bringing this guy in, you know, I watched some of the tape. I didn't go as deep as Caesar and Isaac did. But I'm trusting the coaches on this one, man. Like, you know, listen, if they think this kid can come in and contribute this year, which I don't understand why they would bring him in if they didn't think that. You know, he's got 1 year left. So he's got to play.
You're right.
You know, and he's not making the jump unless he knows he's going to play.
Yeah.
Might as well just say where you're at. If you're just going to come to Auburn and ride the bench, that doesn't help your resume any. So I expect to see him on the field. You know, and maybe what it allows us is it gives somebody the opportunity behind him to develop. But it tells me that they may not feel so solid about whoever's going to be started in the slot that this kid is vying for. And, you know, this roster management thing is something that I'm keeping a close eye on, right? We are doing some interesting things in roster management, but, you know, there seems to be an emphasis on building depth. We have to build depth. You can never be deep enough in our league. So I like it. I like the move. And I like him in Derek Mason's defense. Because we all know what he can do for DBs.
Right.
I expect this kid, if they're bringing him in, I expect this kid to be a draft pick in 2022. That's how I feel about it. I'd be shocked if he doesn't go somewhere in the draft next year. Just my thoughts.
Yeah.
B. Will, what are your and I'm actually get you. I don't know if you had any different thoughts, B. Will. You can let me know. Pretty much the same. I'm gonna allow you to tackle this question about James Barnett. Appreciate you, man. With all the negativity that some have said about Derek Mason, and I'm assuming by negativity, his performance as head coach at Vanderbilt. I'm assuming that's what he's referring to. Mason has never had this much talent along with the defensive staff he currently has. This defense is about to be nasty. What are your thoughts about what Mason is doing on the defensive side of the ball, B. Will?
I agree with James, and I agree with James because of who they're picking up. Like Mike has said, like Ike has said, if you have played for 4 years and you can stay where you're at, or you can step up to the next level, I think it says more about who Mason is that we're getting these types of guys. Because here is a guy who said, yeah, I was about to go to the NFL. That's where I was going. I had been talking to people, but Harsin called me. I was like, oh, okay, well, that sounds interesting. I'll go. If you're going to forego the NFL, it's got to be for a situation where you think you can succeed and you can prove something. And when you go to get a guy who is about to take the jump to the next level of college football, you say, listen, I can put you in the NFL. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. We are going to be working on skills and schemes that they're going to be doing in the NFL. Do you want to come get in here and get a spot to the next level? Those guys are like, yes, put me on board. That's where I want to go. I think the talent, the experience is the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. FCS DBs are getting drafted regularly every year. Some guys that none of us have ever heard of are going somewhere either undrafted or 7th or 6th or 5th round, and they are showing well and they're starting and they're getting the second contracts. So it doesn't bother me at all that these guys are unheralded. I think it's a bigger plus that we have a guy like Derek Mason who has an eye for that type of talent, and that he's getting these guys who only have 1 year to make a significant jump in their stock, and they're going, I'm choosing you. That gives me more confidence, honestly. That gives me a lot of confidence in the defense and what it will be. Because whatever we can say about Derek Mason at Vanderbilt, listen, man, does anybody here think that coaching a team poorly at Vanderbilt makes you a bad coach? That a 3-9 record makes you a bad coach?
Yeah.
That a 4-8? I don't think that. I think James Franklin did an excellent job. I think it was above and beyond. I also think he did some things that people before and after him weren't quite able to do, and I'll let y'all fill that in with y'all's imaginations. But it's not because Derek Mason does not know football, because he does not know defense, and because he cannot scout and recruit. I don't think that's why he had a poor record at Vanderbilt. Right. So I like the fact that this gives me confidence in him, that these experienced players are coming here. This gives me confidence in those players that him, as not just a defensive guy, but an NFL caliber DC, has confidence in those guys. I'm stoked about it. I didn't think that we had anything left to get out the portal. We thought it was over 3 weeks ago. The transfer portal is kind of created like a third signing day, except there's not a hard date on it. It's just like the first period is from whenever to December, and then December to February. You got to get what you can get, and now it's just like a free-for-all after that. which is great for us because we had some holes to fill. But concerns about Mason, no, I'm not concerned at all. I'm excited. I'm a little disappointed because he's going to put together either a super duper fire defense in year 1 or year 2, and that's it. He's going to go, man, because we're about to have one of the best defenses we've had in the last 10 years, either this year or next year. And then he's going to be gone, and I'm going to be sad. But, I'll take it while I can get it.
They better back up the Brinks truck, man, and dump a pile of cash on his front line.
Listen, let me ask you guys this. Do you think this also speaks to the fact that Mason, in teaching this new scheme in year 1, doesn't want to be put in a situation where he has to play freshmen? You muted, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I've been wondering about. Like, with us still going out and getting DBs in the portal, like, why does Thompson leave? What's the other kid that just left? That was the JUCO transfer.
Come on, Haddon.
Yeah. Why does Haddon leave? If it's clear that, to me, this indicates that there is still opportunity to play this year. If you've only got 1 year of eligibility left, why transfer to a place where they've said we're straight on DBs, but Chris Thompson and Haddon both leave? Like, I don't know, that just that indicates a little something to me about where those guys were in their development and where their ability was and to step in this year. And to your question specifically, I think Mason is saying to himself, we need to win now. The mentality of the defensive staff is we're going to win right now. They went and got Tony Fair because they're like, he's got a year left. We're going to come and we're going to get somebody who can come and play today, not try to build up to something. All of this, we're going to be 6-6 crap. They're like, it ain't going to be the defense's fault because we're going to go out here and shut some folks down this year. And Mason and them are like, we ain't playing that 6-6 stuff. We're going to win some ball games this year, and the defense is going to do it. That's his mentality based upon what I'm seeing in the portal.
Yeah, I also think when you have a culture shift, right, you're going to have guys buy in, you're going to have guys opt out. Right. So, notice there's a theme here, man. These guys that they're coming in, that they're bringing in, don't have time to waste.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's urgent for them. They're hungry. They're bringing in guys who are hungry.
Yeah.
Right? And you're sitting on 1 year of eligibility. Listen, you're not worried about politics. You're not worried about favoritism. You worry about getting out there and busting ass every day and earning your spot.
Right.
That's what it looks like they're doing. No, these kids transfer, like, somebody like Tony Fair, who, for whatever reason, he didn't go to a group of 5 school. But he made his name at UAB, and now he's got his chance. He's hungry. Mm-hmm. And listen, I'll tell you what, you feed a dog every day, and he'll be nice to you. You starve him for 7, right? And you put some food in front of him, he might bite your hand off. And they're bringing in a bunch of bite your hand off type guys. These guys are hungry, man. They're ready to go. And I really think that with the opportunity that they have here, there's a lot of things. The scope of college football is changing with name and likeness and all this stuff that's happening. And guys have an opportunity to take advantage of some things that are in front of them.
Right.
And there's a culture shift happening at Auburn. Can't stress enough. I'm going to plug this Bradley Larondo interview again. If you want to know what kind of culture these guys are bringing in, go watch that interview tomorrow. Right. Nobody knows Harsin better than Larondo. He's been with him all the way going back to Boise. Been working on him for over a decade. And, we just asked, like, hey, what can we expect as fans? What is this going to look like? Right. And it's mostly about culture and attitude and work ethic. Listen, Gus had a reputation for being soft, and that era is over.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Soft on players, soft on work ethic. He was meticulous in his preparation, but somehow that didn't translate to the players on the field. That's done. So if you were playing in that culture, and this guy brings in what we have been told repeatedly is a military style approach. right? Beside evaluation and opportunity, I think a lot of it is just, again, fit for the guys like Thompson and Haddon, who is just like, okay, I'm out.
Right.
Right. Now I got to work. Now I got to fight all over again.
Yeah.
And they're bringing in guys. And you know what? Here's what makes me feel great about the guys who stayed. Bo Nix included. He didn't run. He didn't run from the challenge. He stayed and said, listen, I'm going to duke this thing out.
Yeah, because Bo could have transferred and gone to UCF. He could have gone to UCF with Gus.
Somebody would have taken him. Right. And my whole thing, because they would still see the potential that he has. But he said, I'm going to stay right here. Come get me. That makes me feel we need that attitude.
Yeah.
Right.
At every position.
Indeed.
So that's why I think you're seeing this turnover, and then they're bringing in guys who have that attitude.
Right. Right.
Makes me feel good about QB, running back, right? All these positions, man, where guys are just like, come get it. You can bring in a transfer. Let them come get this SEC work. All right, I'm with it. Bring competition back, man.
Right.
The toughest competition you should see every day should be in practice. And when these guys come in, from places like southeastern Missouri or wherever this guy's coming from, he's ready. He wants to be put under the fire.
Yeah,
he wants all the smoke.
If our DBs are as nasty as I think that they are, I do love the prospects of what that means for our offensive pass game getting sharpened.
Yes.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Indeed.
Those wide receivers, like he was talking about, we interviewed him. He got great because he was going against a great DB in practice. So just imagine that for all these wide receivers who they're on their sea legs right now. Like they don't even, it's not like they're experienced wide receivers and they're about to get better because they're playing against better DBs. They are inexperienced wide receivers. So by the time it's showtime for them, if they've been going against that defense for 4 weeks of camp,
even if it's just 7-on-7s or 1-on-1s, it's like, look, these aren't slouch. You going against McCrary and what's the kids that just transferred from West Virginia, and like all these guys who have all these great ball skills and every day in practice. Yeah, and you just got to win a 1-on-1 against Simpson. That guy.
Yeah. Listen.
That's gonna get you ready.
If I'm a receiver and this kid is coming in this summer, I'm grabbing Bo and I'm headed to the intramural fields. All we need is grass and a damn football, right? And I'm lining up against these all-world DBs that they're bringing in, and I'm gonna put them to the test. Yeah. You think you could play this year in the SEC? Lock me down. Let's go.
Right.
1v1. That's what they should be doing all summer.
Mm-hmm. Right. And again, to your point, what Cordy Taylor said, if I can compete against Carlos Rogers in practice and get my fair share of wins in practice, I'm not afraid come Saturday.
Right.
I don't care who's lining up across from me on Saturday.
Yeah. He was the best DB.
If I'm giving the best DB in the SEC work, then you definitely getting worked in the game.
Yeah, which is what he did. That translates. Yeah. Right. He said Carlos Rogers was the best I faced. If I could beat him in practice, who's going to stop me on Saturdays? Right. The answer was not a lot of people.
Yeah.
He left Auburn the leader in receptions.
Yeah.
Right.
So, now Carlos disputes all that work Courtney said that he was giving him. but it was the competition was clear that it was there. And I think that you should be embracing this challenge of them bringing in guys. All right, coach, you can go out and get the Southeastern Missouri guy if you want to. Your choice. But I'm going to elevate my game. And it's not going to be an easy decision for you. So sorry, bro. I know you want to play this year. I know you got 1 year of eligibility left. But have a seat. As a matter of fact, have several seats. I've been here. Right? That's what I hope it sparks. And even if you lose the job and this guy beats you out by just a little bit, he's got 1 year left. And you got 2 or 3 years of eligibility left.
Yeah.
You can only get better from that scenario.
Yeah.
Right? We've got to develop a culture where these guys, bringing in guys from the portal can't mean that the guys that we have run from competition.
Right.
That mentality has to be gone.
You know what? That makes me wonder though with Thompson, specifically with Thompson, because he was in a backfield, defensive backfield, full of competitors. That was hands down the best position group on our team for the last 3 years. Why does he leave? Was it a skill set thing and the coaches told him, hey, there's some stuff you got to work on. We want you to be able to pick up this scheme. We see you're a little shaky on this, and you need to work on that. And so once you get through that, you'll see some more playing time. Or was it, I don't know. Like, I wonder about that, because if there was any position where I would think you're not afraid of competition, it was our last DBs. So why does he leave now? Was it just a wait? I've been waiting my turn. You know what? No, I'm not gonna have to prove myself. Forget it. I'm out of here. Maybe he made the decision that other guys made before the new coaching staff, like Newkirk or Big Cat. They said, new guys. I really like the old guys. I'm gonna do this somewhere else. He was like, no, I'm good because I believe in me. Because again, that position group, if anybody had the salt, those were the guys who had it.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe he still had that salt, but they told him something he didn't want to hear, and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna bounce."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff that goes into it, man. We can't sit here and pretend we know
I
all
have
the things that factor into
I do.
the
It does. Chris Thompson is the one that makes me wonder the most, because he has a lot of eligibility in front of him.
Right.
And did he just feel like he should be playing right now? And they were like, "Nah, we're not going to start you. We don't see you playing. Maybe in a couple of package situations, And he's just like, I ain't feeling that. So
Somebody
but
needs me. Yeah.
But here's the thing: the same thing that we said about the draft. You only get to play this stuff in retro, right? Like, we'll know if he made the right decision. If he's transferring to USC, right? Didn't I see somebody say that? If he goes to USC and he plays and lights it up. But if he goes down there and if he goes up there and he's just sitting there as well, then what was the point, right? So we'll see, but there's no way for us to know today whether he made the right decision for his career. And I will never fault a young man who decides for the career that he wants, that this is the best decision for him. Absolutely go and do that thing. Wish you the best. Hope he has the most amazing year and finishes second to somebody in Auburn in all the polls of the best DBs, right?
Yeah.
And for some people, they just need a fresh start.
Yeah.
Even if it's from the school you're a fan of, some people just need to hit the reset button, recalibrate, and go out and compete. And maybe it's in a new environment, and maybe that's what Chris Thompson needed. Maybe that's what Kamal hadn't needed.
Yeah. To your point, just because a guy leaves us and goes and lights it up at another school doesn't mean that that's what he would have done here.
Correct.
Right.
Like, and so that's why I never get down on a kid, because at the end of the day, you are trying to convince somebody else to see in you what you see in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And some coaches just refuse to see it, because the way everybody evaluates talent is different.
Right.
There are some guys who are consensus, just, okay, this guy is talented. But championships are won and lost on your ability to be able to evaluate the not so obvious talent.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There was a graphic that's been circling around social media about stars, and it's very misleading. And it says, stars don't matter because look how many stars, the average
Super Bowl
graphic.
or something.
Yeah. And it's a stupid graphic, and I'm going to explain why it's stupid, right? Because there are only a handful of 5 stars anyway every year. The better would be to look at the percentage of 5 stars that go on to the NFL. There's a high percentage of them that go on to the league.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't miss on those guys very often. And but my point is that the majority of the players fall in the 3 to 4 star range, because there's only a handful of 5 stars anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And of those guys, only a handful of them will be transformative players that can carry a team almost all by themselves, like Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Right. Like, a true I'll carry my team type talent.
Right.
But most championships are won or lost on guys like Mac Jones at Alabama.
Yeah.
Right. They somehow developed this guy and then kept him in their system long enough to benefit from his talents after Tua and Hurts. So, we have to start that same kind of thing here, where there's a pipeline of guys that are coming through, right? And your ability to be able to evaluate the 3 and 4 stars or pick these portal guys out from, somebody messed up, right? If this guy from Eastern Missouri is NFL talent, somebody messed up and overlooked him early in his career.
For sure.
It happens all the time.
For sure.
Right. And if we can recognize, like, listen, we missed this guy the first time, but we recognize now this guy's got talent. Let's snatch him up. Right. I would kindly remind everybody that DeMarcus Ware was in our backyard and we let him go to Troy.
Yeah.
Somebody said he was too small and didn't have enough talent to play at Auburn.
Hall of Fame
man.
linebacker.
Right, come on, man. Somebody effed up.
Hall of Famer.
Right.
Somebody looked at DeMarcus Ware and said, "Nah, bro." In our backyard.
Right? That's wild. That's wild, man.
This is why we harp so much on talent evaluation and development.
Yeah. This is why you have an entire staff dedicated to scouting and identifying talent in your area. Right. You don't put it in that. You don't put it in the eyes of coaches because they have so much things they have to worry about. You hire a staff of people who can specialize in doing just that. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so when you get that, you're able to find a diamond in the rough. You're able to find those guys who would normally be looked over because they're not jumping off the pages because they don't have a lot of stars by their name or they didn't come from a prestigious institution. These guys, you can look at them on film and can tell this dude can ball.
Right.
This is what we need. This is who we need on our team.
Carlton Davis was a 3-star. T-Rob looked at him and said, I have to have this guy. This is my guy. Recruited him relentlessly.
Yeah.
We almost lost him, I think, to Kentucky. And T-Rob was like, I got to have him. Now we see how that worked out for us and for him.
Yeah.
Right.
All because T-Rob was able to see in him what this young man saw in himself.
Yeah.
Carlton had I'm a Super Bowl champion kind of attitude the whole time he was at Auburn. A lot of people overlooked him.
Hey, Kenneth Redden.
Yep, Phillip Rivers. Ask King about Phillip. King, if you in the comments, bro, drop us a comment about Phillip Rivers. He blocked for him. He protected his blind side for 4 years. Right? And he tells a story about Phillip Rivers. We just overlooked him. He was in our backyard.
Yeah.
We let him go to NC State. That's what I'm saying. It's just, again, why I say I get that stars are not everything. They're not everything. But this kid that's coming in, I can be excited about this kid coming in from Eastern Missouri because it tells me already that our coaches are evaluating talent differently than the last staff, and maybe that will produce a different result. Because where it ended us was we had no pass rush for the last couple of years, practically.
Yeah, facts.
Right. And even with guys like Marlon Davidson and Derek Brown, right? Pass rush wasn't great.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. Those guys were all world, but our pass rush was almost non-existent. And you should be able to eat as an end on a line with Derek Brown.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make any comments on that.
One name came to my mind.
Right.
But I do want to let me add this though. And this is an extended benefit of having Derek Mason is who do you think he's been scouting for the last 5 years? He hadn't been scouting 5 stars and 4 stars. He's had to scout.
That's the same thing for like Harsin. Like a lot of these guys. Yeah. I mean, you didn't have the shot at the 5 stars. You had to go find other places to go get talent. So the way that they're looking at and evaluating talent is so different because their entire career has been built on finding diamonds in the rough. So it's like, okay, now not only do I have the eye for the diamonds, I've got the program that diamonds want to come to. Oh, we finna eat, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
You ain't said nothing but a word.
Because the guys that he was missing on at Vandy, he can now get the common skill set that he's looking for. I'm sure he would love a guy that has quick feet, fluid, can read, diagnose, not afraid of contact, can tackle, long rangey, can leap and defend passes, and also runs a 4.3. But with Vandy, he had to strike like 3 of those things off his list because there's no way you're getting a guy with all that. Though they're going to Bama, they're going to Clemson, they're going to Ohio State. Now he can see those guys who have maybe one or two or more of the things than half of them. But there's still a couple who he didn't get. He goes, you know what? I've been eyeing this guy since he came out of high school, and now he's back on the market.
Right.
Let's get him. I know what I'm looking for here because I had to do more with less for years. Give me that guy right there. Like that. He knows what it takes to play the position and play it well. Richard Sherman wasn't a highly touted recruit.
Nope.
He talked about that because he got slept on from SC. SC didn't want him. That's why he went to Stanford.
From the jump.
Mm-hmm.
From the jump. How did that work out?
He's talked about how he had a little salt towards Pete Carroll when he got up there because SC didn't want him when Pete Carroll was at SC. He said, yeah, we had a little talk about that jokingly. I mean, it's all happy ending for him now. But yeah, man, listen, Derek Mason knows what he's doing. So again, I have no worries about, number one, the type of guys and what they're going to do with them. It's can the offense give them enough help? That's really what it's going to be about.
Right. Listen, when you're recruiting these underrated guys, your margin for error is just a little bit shorter. Right. You can't go after a guy like this and miss. Right. So you're going in and you're bringing in this 1 year guy. In my book, he's got to work out. Right. Because of the dynamic that it creates on your team.
Sure.
When you bring in a 1 year guy and you essentially upset the balance of how people flow through your program for 1 year, and somebody's got to sit because you're bringing this guy in, and if he doesn't do a good job, the worst thing that can happen to you is that your players start to doubt whether you can see their talents or not.
Right.
That's when the portal starts to work against you.
Yeah. And then you have to live in the portal, right? Because you have attrition from the younger talent that is impatient because every year you're bringing somebody to sit in front of them on the bus. Right. It's like every time it's my shot, you put somebody in front of me. Mm-hmm. Like that's never fun.
Right.
Who wants to stand in line for 2 years just to wait to get to the front of the line and somebody's like, let this guy in first.
But you foolproof yourself against that by winning on the field with the guys that you have.
Right. You have to prove you make the right decision. And then you can continuously develop that guy behind him and be like, listen, you're right on this dude's heels. Next year is your year.
Right. Nick Saban is portal proof.
Yeah.
He's portal proof. Now you can jump to the portal, but he's got the next guy clamoring to come in to his program, because getting into that program means that, it's almost like, if you went to an Ivy League school and you graduate with a law degree, you're guaranteed a job in any law firm, right? The NFL is the fancy law firm and Alabama is the fancy law school. They actually do have a pretty good law school, but that's what it is. You come into my program, I can guarantee you a job placement.
Right.
And that's just what we have to do. And you don't have to win championships every year to do it. I'm telling you, you just need to put a result on the field that, listen, man, guys want to go to Florida right now. Right. Of all the teams in the SEC, Florida and Georgia, and then, LSU here and there have proven that they can be consistently competitive with Alabama. So you're going to be able to get your shots at Alabama if you go to any one of those three schools.
Yeah.
Who was it that just came to us to say, I want to beat Alabama? What was it?
Tony Fair.
Tony Fair.
Yeah.
Right? You wanted to smoke. I'm like, listen, I love that. Mm-hmm. Come to Auburn and give Alabama all that work.
Mm-hmm.
Make proof to them why they should not have overlooked you.
Right.
And we'll find more Tony Fairs, man, in this portal and development. But if you can develop, you'll have your pick out of high school and out of the portal.
Agreed.
Right? That's just where we need to get, man. Come on, I'm pleading with Brian Harsin. Just develop these guys, man. We're behind you 100%.
Agreed. Good talk, guys. Listen, we passionate about this kid, and we should be passionate about this video as well. I need you guys to get out here and share this video on your social medias. I need you to share it on Twitter. Please add us at The War Report and hashtag us TWR Tailgate and hashtag Get Your Weight Up. You can do that on Facebook or Twitter, but add us on Twitter at The War Report if you're on Twitter. We would appreciate that. Also, man, I hope you guys are excited about what we got coming up this week. This is a great week for content. Mike G, let the people know what we got coming up, please.
Yes,
sir.
if you missed the start of the broadcast, we just dropped an interview for our insiders with Bradley Larondo, building a program. He is the Associate Athletic Director and Football Chief of Staff for Auburn football. This guy has been with Brian Harsin for a decade. If you want to know what kind of culture we're going to have, Brad is the guy to let us know. So we asked him that. We asked him some very pointed questions. He answered gracefully, and he was just a class act. Made me feel really good about the type of program that we're building. So if you want the feel goods too, go check out Building Rapport, Building a Program with Bradley Larondo. We'll release that at 10 a.m. Tomorrow for everybody who is not an insider. Our Josh Pate interview is still live. Again, just some good unbiased commentary on Auburn football about where the program was, where we are, where we hope to be. Josh, can't say thank you enough for him for lending his time to us to have a meaningful discussion about our program. I appreciate his insights. And so we are running a raffle. If you missed the front of the program, please drop a hashtag GoRB in the comments. And in about 30 minutes, we're going to draw, and there will be a winner. We have a system. It's exciting.
Be here to win.
You have to be here at the end. That is our ploy to keep you watching until the end of this broadcast. But go RB. And we're going to draw a winner at the 1 hour mark and then mail you guys out a Bo Jackson Kansas City Royal card that comes to you via Dirt Road Outfitters. That's our guy, No Risk, No Reward, here in the comments. I see him here today. Go check out his eBay store. They have some interesting stuff there, but he is sponsoring this giveaway. We appreciate him. He's one of our best members. So thank you. No Risk, No Reward. Our GoFundMe is live. We have partnered with the Lee County Humane Society. That's LCHS, and they are saving animals, and we want to help them do that. So our platform has grown immensely. We appreciate all you guys because we could not do this without you. And now we want to do something for somebody else. I am the beneficiary of having a rescue animal. Ike is also. I know we love our animals. They add value and peace to our lives. We want to help other people find that same joy. So you can help us help them do that by going to our GoFundMe. You can find this link in the About section of our YouTube channel. And 50 cents on every dollar goes to helping them, rescue an animal, take care of them, and then find them a good home. That is our goodwill and mission. Become an insider. $5.99 a month will get you there. This officially makes you a part of what we're doing. And I cannot stress to the extent to which we appreciate the financial commitment a lot of you guys have made to us. I know $5.99 may not sound like a lot of money, but it does a lot for us to help us continue to bring you guys great content 4 to 5 times a week, sometimes 6 times a week. It has become a full-time job for us on the side of our full-time jobs. And we want to be able to continue to do that. So you can support us by becoming an insider or supporter, whatever you can stomach. We appreciate any and all people who contribute to that. And then lastly, our merch store is up. I'm wearing it. I saw there was a comment about the Fearless and True merch. Listen, Auburn's legal copyright department is undefeated, and they have a trademark on Fearless and True. So we had to discontinue that. So I'm still wearing it. If somebody from Auburn's copyright department is watching this, Nana Boo Boo, we pulled it off the merch store. So I'm still going to wear this one that we created. But we have some great stuff in the merch store. So please get your weight up gear. It's there. It's hot. It's live. And then Ike has got some goodies dropping for you guys here midsummer. So we're refreshing that thing in regular intervals. But we've got some great stuff there. Wednesday night, we're running a war room with Jeffrey Lee. This is going to be a recruiting special. So a lot of you guys have asked about recruiting, and we have consistently said we are not recruiting experts. We only evaluate after the guy decides to sign with Auburn. But we recognize that there is an intense interest in who we're looking at, right, and where we stand with those recruits. So we are bringing on the recruiting experts. I read a lot of Jeffrey Lee's stuff. I follow him on Twitter. He's a good source for recruiting information. It keeps me up to date on what we're doing in the portal and, in high school recruiting. So he's coming on to talk to us and answer your questions about recruiting. So you don't want to miss this Wednesday night. Please join us with Jeffrey Lee, and he is going to get our weight up in recruiting knowledge. So I appreciate Jeffrey for taking some time to speak with us on Wednesday. It's going to be a fun segment.
And guys, make sure you bring your questions, your recruiting questions that I know you guys have asked us. Make sure you jump on that live and ask those questions for him. He's there to ask whatever you want to ask about recruiting. We also had a question about the guy we recruited, and I can't find it because you know how our comment section can be. The question was, do we think this guy actually will get some playing time in this defense?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I think you know we're gonna be running a lot of nickel and dime packages this year. We're gonna see a lot of DBs rotate in and out. Again, he's a 1-year guy. He's got the talent to be able to do it. I don't see any reason why he doesn't see significant playing time on the field for us this year, whether it's in the nickel dime package or actually going to rotate into a safety. You know, listen, Mason has said that they're in the mad scientist factory out here with these folks. So I expect us to line up in some stuff that we're going to be sitting there looking at like, what? I don't even know what this defensive alignment is right now. And just throwing guys on the field who can play football and putting them in position to make football plays. So yes, I do.
Yeah, and we're going to be a 3-4, but listen, we're going to be in nickel a lot just because of the times we're in where you got 4 or 5 wide receiver sets,
right?
And you got to cover
that. Going to be common. You're gonna when you're playing LSU they've already said that they're going back to the Joe Brady style attack, which means they're going to be airing it out next year. Mike Leach ain't going nowhere. You know, we got to play the Mississippis this year, right? So both of them are going to be airing the ball out consistently. You need guys who can cover out there to be able to compete with those. Alabama has been slinging it all over the field. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities for teams to throw the ball, and we're going to need guys who can cover and be rangy, and we're going to need to rotate, and we're going to need to, in case, you know, somebody gets some crazy targeting penalty or somebody pulls a hamstring, somebody needs to be able to jump in there immediately and play football. So yeah, we're going to need every one of those DBs.
Indeed. Well, listen, let's pick up where we left off with the transfer portal talk. We know Bydarrius Knighten is now an Auburn Tiger, but we got some other guys in the portal who's been making some news who could be potential Auburn leans. Let's talk about some of these guys. At the top of the list is quarterback TJ Finley. You know this guy from LSU, played against us. He was a starting quarterback for LSU in last year's game. Didn't go so well for him, but the game prior to that, he actually showed some positive signs against South Carolina. So that was a game that he had going into the Auburn game. After the Auburn game, I think he started one more time and then eventually lost his job. But then we also have linebacker Keyshawn, I'm assuming Keyshawn Brown from Texas A&M. He was a 2019 commitment. I think he redshirted that year, and I think he may have sat out of the 2020 year, if I'm not mistaken. So he's entered the portal, and I think he's out of Alabama. He was a 4-star recruit out of high school, and he's looking at Auburn at linebacker. You have defensive end Marcus Harris from Kansas, and we've already discussed the guys at the bottom. Safety Donovan Kaufman out of Vanderbilt, who's supposed to be announcing this upcoming Wednesday. So we'll have a lot to talk about him with Jeffrey Lee this upcoming week. And then we have running back Jordan Ingram, who many feel is an Auburn lean as well. Let's start with TJ Finley. I know there's been kind of a mixed opinions about these guys, especially TJ Finley, in terms of quarterback. Want to start with B. Will in terms of your thoughts with TJ Finley. Some people are saying nah. Some people are saying I think he could be great. What do you think, B?
I'm trying not to let the game that we saw him play against us last year color my view of who he is or what he can be as a player. The thing that gives me pause is not that we beat him, because he was fairly inexperienced, and for all of our defensive line shortcomings last year, our DBs were not. The defensive staff were no slouches. So they made life hard for him, like they should, an inexperienced quarterback. And that's what showed on the field. You know, I think he got sacked for a fumble and then threw a pick or two. And we needed that game also. as a team. So I think, we were coming home after a road loss. We needed to get that, and we got it against a very bad defense as well. So that was a total team, even though the score doesn't indicate how much the defense won that game for us. It was a lot more defense than offense for us that game. But the thing that worries me about it is there's a quote here. I'm reading USA Today wrote up an article about it. This is Finley talking. Quote, they don't have a lot of quarterbacks in the room behind Bo Nix that can step in and play, and I feel like they lack experience behind Bo, Finley said, which is true. And there is an opportunity there. A lot of people in the organization there, since the new staff got there, believe I can come in and compete for the starting job. Mm-hmm. It ain't like me going there to be a backup. All right, so hold on now. Okay, so we started the spring. We got this new staff, and Mike was like, I don't think it's Bo's job to lose. And then, much to his chagrin and the rest of our slight disappointment, it turned out to be Bo's job to lose. Now, here is where the transfer portal gets tricky, because I have no doubt that they have been telling Bo Nix for the last 3 months, you are the guy. Don't worry about anything else. We need you to be great. You're going to work on A, B, C, D, and E. We're going to practice it. We saw that first open practice. Harsin was one-on-one coaching up Bo, because that was going to be the guy. It seems like they decided a long time ago, we've got to put all our eggs in this basket because he's the best thing we've got. Combination of talent, potential, and experience. He's the best thing we've got, and we have to make this work with him. We have to get the most out of him. If you're going to tell TJ Finley, and I don't believe he's getting this from nowhere, when he said I believe that I can come in and compete for the starting job. Who's telling him that? The same people who told Bo, you're it? Is that who's telling him that? Now, this is why kids end up leaving, because Bo Nix has a good head start as far as preparation in the system. I don't think we're running the same thing that LSU was running. Well, at least not. Maybe some concepts are similar, because LSU had kind of turned the page to a pass-happy offense far ahead of us. It's not just a simple 7-on-7 spread Texas-style thing, but I don't know, man. Like, that to me, this is if anybody was going to be competing for a starting job, I would want it to be Demetrius Davis. That's what I would want to see. And for you to tell a guy he's got a shot to compete for the starting job, based on what?
Yeah.
What did you see that made you think, oh yeah, he's definitely number 2 / maybe 1B to Bo Nix's 1A? Based on what? Like that's got me scratching my chin and wondering. And so it's not so much about what
your boy Lloyd.
I don't want to talk about that.
That's what he's basing it on.
Yeah, that's true. But it's not so much that TJ Finley is, oh, he's bad because he played a bad game against us. That means he's worthless. No, it's not, man. Listen, Bo Nix has played 3 bad games in his first year, and we didn't give up on him. And a lot of the fan base didn't give up on him after more bad games in the second year. So I'm not giving up on the kid like that. It's, what do you think you're coming here for? What did the staff tell you were coming here for? And what does that mean then for the guy who is currently here, who went through a spring, who showed some flashes, Demetrius Davis?
Yeah.
I don't want to. That's why I don't want to upset. Go ahead.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I will say that Mike has been probably blowing this trumpet the most of things that I was like, I don't really know. This is where I will agree with Mike's assessment 2 months ago. It seems clear this staff is intent on redshirting Demetrius Davis.
Yeah.
It seems clear that they are saying to themselves, we don't want this kid to see the field this year. I don't know why they feel like he's not ready to see game action. Right. It's also pretty clear to me that this staff values game experience over potential ability, because of a lot of the players that they're bringing in that have had a ton of playing experience, regardless of what level. They value guys who have at least seen college level competition on the field over a true freshman starting. Right. So I don't know what that says to potential recruits who want to come in and play immediately at 5-star and all. I don't know what any of that stuff says. What I do know is that if TJ Finley comes here, it seems that they are intent on saying to Demetrius Davis, you will redshirt your freshman season.
Yes.
It also seems to me that they saw the same thing we saw out of the A-Day game. The number 2 quarterback, if it's not going to be Demetrius Davis, is not on our team right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all of this says to me, is that we don't have a guy who we think is ready today to compete with Bo Nix as a possible 1A, right? Not a number 2, but a 1A, right? Like if Bo goes down, we're completely confident we can throw this guy into game duty and he's ready to play at an SEC level today. Right. If they bring in Finley, it says to me that guy's not on our team right now, and he's a guy who we believe can compete for that.
Right.
Mike G, talk to me, man. How do you feel about that?
All right, so oh God,
hold on, let me address Timothy real quick. How can you get that experience if you don't play? You're gonna get it by playing in practice a little bit more and seeing the game. Because let's go back to what we saw in the spring game. Great arm from Dede, right? But also he's the only one of our quarterbacks who threw an obvious almost pick. Right, not he threw it up from the jump ball. Like it was clear he misread that, and it was going to be an interception going the other way. Right, he was the only one of the quarterbacks to do that in the spring game. We can say whatever we want to about Lloyd airmailing a couple of balls. He didn't almost throw any picks on it yet. Well, because they didn't throw it in the vicinity of a person. Right, it was just all air.
Right,
but the only one who almost cost his team points was Demetrius Davis, right? So he's got to see that game speed. In their opinion, I'm not out here evaluating him practice to practice. In their opinion, he needs to see that game speed a little bit more before they're ready to throw him into the fire on Saturdays. All right. So you're going to see it by playing against competition in practice, and then maybe getting into a couple of games early against some of these cupcakes that we have, because he does have 4 games that he can get in and see time. We've got enough games on the schedule where he'll be able to do that. And that, it seems to me, that's the plan for him right now based upon all of these rumblings. Anyway, Mike, go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do my best not to be super negative about any of this, but I'll lead with what the positive spin is, right? I think that bringing Finley in could be just as simple as right now we don't have the number 2 on our team, just like Ike said. Right, we still believe in Bo, but we need somebody who can push Bo now. And if he gets hurt, having a guy who's actually played some games in the SEC might not be a bad thing, right? Yeah. Like, so, I mean, I'm not sure if the decision is any deeper than that. And we know from talking to Chris Todd, what he said, every year they're trying to bring somebody in who's better than you. It doesn't matter how good you are, right? That's what Jason White, a Heisman winner, told him. I just won the Heisman, and I'm fighting for my job the next year. Why? Right? Because they know that, listen, life comes at you fast. And if you don't have the next guy ready, you're in trouble. So after evaluating what we had this spring, they may have just simply said, Demetrius could be the future, but he's just not ready to step in right now. Now, I was hoping that, like, listen, you can still get him. If you are doing your job, you should be able to get him ready by midseason. I believe that. If you have a quarterback that comes in and goes through a spring, your staff should be able to get him ready by midseason. And the better schools in the group of 5 are doing that. So here's my cup of reality tea. The decision to roll Lloyd out there for a whole half had me scratching my head about their ability to be able to evaluate what's best at quarterback. So, trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, maybe Lloyd looked great in practice and then flubbed it during A-Day. Maybe that's what was it. I mean, it's hard.
I don't believe that.
Yeah. Listen, I realize that as I'm saying that it's a stretch, but I'm trying to make sense of that. Of like, what did you see out of him that said that he was clearly the number 2, because you played him during A-Day like he was clearly the number 2. So now everything that you're saying about quarterbacks, I'm questioning. After that, that's my realistic. Kind of like, hey man, listen, if I take all the sunshine pump away, right, there's some things going on there. Or is nobody ready? Or are we completely screwed at quarterback? And then you've got a true freshman who may have potential, but he, by your estimation, he's more of a project than you would like at this point. So you're thinking, I can't play this guy this year because I don't want to throw him out there and ruin him, right? I've got a third-year starter and it could go either way. He could improve, he could not improve, he could stay the same. During our Josh Payton interview, I think we all could just admit, if we can all admit that what our current quarterback has done to date is not good enough. If he does not improve, we're in trouble. We're going to lose a lot of games. So what is your plan if he doesn't improve?
Right.
That's got to be and this is what I think that Finley is about. What is my right now plan that does not involve throwing a freshman to the Wolves? Yeah. Like what we did to Bo. We threw him to the Wolves. He had some bright spots. And he had some not so bright spots.
Right.
And he had a tough run, man. No spring the next year, coronavirus. I mean, it's a different coordinator every year. That's tough.
Right.
But it still is what it is. You didn't have a hand in any of that. Your job is to win now. So you either get him going, and even if you get him going, we still need a viable backup. You still need somebody that puts the fear of God in him every single day to do his best or sit.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that's where I'm at about this. I'm not sure that the decision to bring Finley in is that deep. Right. It's just we don't have any depth in terms of game experience. And I think it was Brian that just said it right. Like they're prioritizing game experience. Okay, I can buy. Oh, I said that. Yeah, I can buy that. I can buy that as well too, but you don't have that in your QB room outside of Bo.
Right.
So you bring this guy in, and hopefully he gives you that. And it gives everybody else a little bit of reprieve. And if Demetrius Davis is as good as you think he is, he should be ready to take that job right back from Finley the next year.
And see, this is where it gets hairy to me. Where it gets hairy is you telling Finley, hey, you have a chance. The fact that you're recruiting Finley, you could say it's just for depth, but Finley's quote lets me know he doesn't think it's just for depth. Are you telling Finley and Bo the same thing? Coaches kind of have to be duplicitous, man. There's only 22 spots.
I think the bigger issue for me is not whether they're telling Finley and Bo the same thing. It's whether they're telling Finley and Demetrius Davis the same thing. Right? Because Finley has 3 years of eligibility.
And that's where I was going. That's a lot of years to be stuck.
Right.
Or one or the other.
If you bring in a guy with that much, like if Finley was a junior coming in with 1 year of eligibility left, or a redshirt senior or something like that with 1 year left to come in and compete, number one, that wouldn't make a ton of sense unless he could play immediately, or with 2 years of eligibility left, right? It'd be different for me. But with you, when you have a true freshman that's coming in right now behind you, for Finley, whether he comes here or not will 100% in my mind depend upon whether he thinks he can be the starter for the next 2, maybe 3 seasons here at Auburn. If he doesn't feel like that, this ain't the right place for him. He should go somewhere else, because that doesn't make a ton of sense for his career.
Right. And I'll tell you what else about Finley too. Listen, he's not as athletic as Bo.
No. So
this offensive line, the state of this offensive line is going to be a lot more important to him than it was for Bo.
Correct.
Right. So if they do not improve, that's a tough situation for him. Look what we did to him last year. Right. So he's got a lot of things that he has to improve. I just think, man, if you're Finley and you're coming here, you saw he said it, his own words, right? It's not like I'm coming there to be a backup.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real silent shot at Bo.
Yeah, that says a lot for his confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Kid is not lacking in confidence.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen anything that this guy has done that if I improve, I can't beat him out.
Right.
And hey, game on, right?
Right, game on. Yeah, listen, I want that kind of attitude in there. Let's see it.
Go.
Yeah, let's see it. And if he has that kind of confidence, just show it on the field, man. That's only gonna and you know what? If it makes Bo step his game up, Auburn wins.
Right.
Well, listen, the past 2 years, has there been a true threat to come in with Bo. We can talk about Gatewood, but again, we have to consider who the head coach was. Obviously he had no intentions of benching, but now with a new head coach, Bo needs to know that if I don't play well, there's someone behind me who will.
Right.
And it just looks like this coaching staff, for the sake of depth and for the sake of competition, wants the quarterback that knows that you're just not going to be the default quarterback just because. You're going to be the starting quarterback because you're doing what we're asking you to do, and you're making plays that puts us in the best position to win games. And if you're not, next man up.
Next man up. Listen, man, a good coach knows how to motivate.
Yeah.
You find the best motivator for the individual player, and you use that as a catalyst to get him to improve. You have to use every tool in your toolbox and at your disposal to get the most out of guys. So when the new coach is here, maybe they're looking at, they've had only 5 months to evaluate this situation so far, 4.5 months. 4.5 months in, they're looking at it and they're thinking, let's look at what worked and what didn't work and where everybody's at. So we knew what after A-Day, everybody had to sit down with their coaches and the head coach and talk about where they were at. Some guys got some good news, some guys got some bad news. So then we see a rush of transfers and portal entries. Presumably the guys who got bad news. Now we have to backfill those positions. But guys who you've already evaluated, I like the point that you made about Mason. He ain't been sitting on his thumbs these last couple of years. He's been evaluating players. Players that he would not have had a chance to bring in at some of the programs that he was at. Now he's at Auburn. So he can go back to those same guys and be like, hey, the difference between whether I got you or didn't was the school that I was at. Now I'm at Auburn. I'm in the SEC. Right?
Yeah.
Come get some. Same for Harsin. All those guys he would not have had a shot at Boise, he's got a shot at now. Go get them.
Yeah.
We talked about the three quarterbacks in the draft that went top three. The top three quarterbacks that went in the draft.
Yeah.
Right? He was recruiting all of them at some point.
Yeah.
And one was committed to him for 6 months. And he lost out because he was at Boise.
Which is interesting because he was at Boise, right? North Dakota State in the bigger program than Boise. I know they're like the Alabama of
it was Zach Wilson was the one that was committed, I think.
Zach Wilson,
and he decided to stay at BYU because he's a Mormon and it was closer to home for him. Gotcha. Yeah, so
but he was recruiting Trey Lance too.
He was recruiting Trey Lance,
and didn't get him. But so Mike said something to make me think of this. We've already got a quarterback commit for the 2022 class. What are you telling that? Like, what is that guy thinking? Like, you gonna bring somebody in that's got 3 more years, and you've got a guy right now who's got at least 4. You can redshirt Dede. He's got 4 years of eligibility. TJ gets spot up duty, and he's got 4 because last year was COVID.
Yep, COVID year.
Listen, man, what do you?
And I don't even know if he technically burned his red shirt last year because he only played in 3 games. So he might still he could have technically made that a red shirt year and really have 5 years of eligibility left because of the COVID year.
Right.
I'm just looking forward to the day where I can say, man, look at our quarterback room and look who's in there.
Yeah.
I don't care. Be hard. Like, bring talent to the quarterback room.
This is the kind of problem top schools have every year. How do I get and retain all of this talent that's coming here? And how do I choose who's going to be the best guy? This is unfortunately for Auburn fans, we're not used to this. So it scares us to think our talented guys are going to go somewhere else. But good programs just reload talent. Like you're going to lose some talent because people don't want to sit behind all that kind of stuff. You're going to lose some talent because people leave early to go to the NFL. You're going to lose some talent just because whatever talent's not going to stay in your program because they only have so many years of eligibility. They got to go somewhere at some point in time. You got to figure out how to keep that revolving door of talent.
Right. But listen, they don't miss on the evaluation side, which is why they have that problem.
Yep. That's the fundamental difference of why programs remain successful and those that have like flash in the pan success, where it's like 1 or 2 years, you got it right 1 year. And then you get a bunch of talent to come in after that because you're like, oh, well, this is a competing program, but you're picking all the wrong guys that are coming to you just because the floodgates open. It's like you don't know how to pick, again, the diamond in the rough. I don't think that that's necessarily the case with this staff. This, again, to me, this staff is one that has always been right at the level, right below where all the big guys want to go to. Boise's been one of the group of 5 schools for years that has been kind of feasting off of the scraps that other people haven't been getting.
Right.
Vandy has been sitting in the SEC just hoping to get a trickle down of talent to come over there, right? And so they've had to figure it out with other guys and still be competitive. Now they're stepping up to the next level of schools that are in that top 15 to 20 of like, yeah, it's only so many talented players. A lot of them are going to come to Auburn.
Yeah, bring that same energy. I'll tell you, we asked Josh Pate this during the interview, right? Because I wanted an unbiased view of this. And I said, listen, Josh, if you are a recruit, what does this staff say to you that signals to you want to get on this Auburn train? He had a very interesting answer, right? He said that you have to show what it is that you're trying to do on the field this year.
Right.
He was not enamored with record. He just said, you got to show it. And then when you go into a recruit's home, you got to say, listen, this is what we're trying to do. We can't do it because we don't have guys like you.
Right.
Right.
And then you can point to the film and say, look, we tried to get the ball to our receivers.
Right.
But we don't have an accurate QB. That's why you come to Auburn, because you can make that throw. Right? Or maybe we've got the quarterback. We just don't have receivers that can catch. Look, we push the ball downfield. We try to do it. It's just not successful because we don't have you.
Right. That same throw right there, you're going to make that catch.
You're going to make that catch.
You got the speed to be able to do that. Or you have to be able to get the separation. Or you got the hands to da-da-da-da. Or, like I said, running back. You see that hole right there? A guy with your speed in that system right there, that's a touchdown if you're the guy right there doing that.
Right.
I said this, if you guys go back and watch me talk about games last year, about the difference between Tank and DJ Williams on plays. And I was like, Tank, that's probably a 20 or 30 yard run if Tank makes that, because he's one-on-one in the hole with a linebacker. Tank either makes that guy miss or runs over him, but DJ Williams gets tackled for a 5-yard gain. It was a good gain, but with Tank on the field, that's a big one, because he's making that linebacker miss, or he's shrugging off that tackle because it's one-on-one at a bad angle. Right. And so you can sit there and look at that same tape and say, you see this guy right here? Now imagine you had that hole on that play. What would you have done right there? And he's saying to himself, oh man, that's a touchdown. I'd have broke that dude tackle easy, right? And in your mind, if you're a 5-star recruit, you know that that's probably true because you've been doing it your whole life.
Right. Listen, you know how we got, what part of the reason we got Cadillac? They made a special recruiting video just for Cadillac. Mm-hmm. Right. And it was a history of great running backs at Auburn. They took him into Jordan-Hare and they played it on the Jumbotron for him. Mm-hmm. Jumbotron was a lot smaller back then. Mm-hmm. It's not the Godzillatron that we have now. But they took him in there, and then the video ended with him, and this was amazing tech for the time, by the way. All right. Like a jersey superimposed on him, saying, you will be the next in a great line of running backs because we run the ball at Auburn. That was one of the difference makers between getting him and not losing him to Alabama. Right. But they had at least something they could show him to say, listen, our commitment to the run is unquestioned. Right. We could do it better if we have you. And look at all the guys that we've done it with up to this point. I mean, in the 90s, who do we have? Stephen Davis and Rudy Johnson. And I mean, come on, man. Black said, okay, now I'm not pretending to know every reason that he made his decision, but I was part of that. So that was the pitch.
Yeah. Question for you. Did you make that video?
No, I did not. That was before my time. Because Lack and I were actually in the same class. So I saw the video after the fact, right? And then I was, I heard the story. So I wasn't in there. But I can tell you what, if I did make his recruiting video, we land every running back ever. Listen, you turn me loose on some recruiting videos, and I'm telling you. But I just think, again, what is we've said it a bunch of times. Brian has said it. Ike has said it. Caesar, you have said it. We all want to know, what are you telling these kids? Right? And it's simple at other schools because if you're Saban, your recruiting pitch is easy. If you're Ryan Day at Ohio State, your recruiting pitch is real easy because you have already shown it on the field.
Yeah.
You're just telling the kid he's going to be the next in a long line of guys. If you're at Oklahoma and you're Lincoln Riley, what the hell do you have to say to quarterbacks? Yeah, come win the Heisman,
buddy.
We put one out every other year, buddy. Could be you. Right? Yeah. You make a little fake Heisman trophy and you put his name on it. All right.
So we got a few, not to cut you off, I hate to cut you off, Mike, but I do want to address a few questions, some things that some of our listeners want to know. Someone asked a question. TJ commits to Auburn. What does that mean for Holden?
Of course, it gives you. I think it does give you pause. Right? Recruiting is ongoing. Yeah, it should. It should. If I were him, I'd be like, I don't know. What if this guy comes? But he's got a year to watch and see what happens.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a little early because again, we don't know what is going to actually happen on the field. He could watch those guys play on the field and say to himself, I could beat out both of those guys.
Right.
All right. Yeah. All right. I'll be there. I'll be there, coach. We'll see. We'll see you in the spring. I ain't worried.
Yeah, for sure.
And assuming if they expect him to play right away, I mean, like if he doesn't play by the time he's able to compete for a starting job, and Finley is there, Finley would have played 2 years,
right,
or a year or so, you know what I mean, or 2 years of his eligibility. So I don't know if Finley would be a factor. So that's why I say I'm not quite sure what this does. I think what Holden should be concerned about is what happens with Davis should Finley show up, because I'm pretty sure they will be close.
Competing with, right?
That's who he will be competing with. I wouldn't be so worried about Finley, but Davis.
As a recruit, there's two things that I'm looking at. A thing that Mike keeps bringing up: how you're managing your roster, number one, and what this system morphs into, number two. Right? Yeah. Because if it's something that fits my skill set more completely, then I feel like either of the guys that you've got on the freaking roster right now, I don't care who you bring in. I can run that system better than all of them.
Right.
Let me come play. Just let me show up in the film room and talk you through the things that I've been seeing. Then let's go out here on the field. Let's throw it around. And if you don't agree with me that I'm better than those guys, now I have to question your roster management skills, because I can definitely play better than them.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And bringing guys with that dog attitude.
Yeah.
And when you set a system up that attracts those type of players, and then you can show it on the field. I really like what Josh Pay had to say about record. He's listen, man, I don't know that 7-5 or 8-4 tells you much about where this program is headed. You have to look a little deeper to see how guys are performing, because it may not translate into more wins in year one. Right. And it's been said, we have some very smart commenters. It has been said in the comments and by us repeatedly that changing systems on offense is very different from changing systems on defense. And it's a lot harder.
Right.
And there's a lot more adjustment that has to be made by everybody. And in year one, it might look rough. Brace yourselves. It might look a little rough in year one.
Yeah.
Right. So unless the wheels completely fall off the wagon and we win like 2 or 3 games, I just don't think we should overreact to the end result in year one. Because we can have a mediocre record and still feel hopeful for year two.
Yeah.
And still show clear signs that we're trending up. Can't say it enough. I know it's 2 different sports, but Bruce Pearl gave us that in basketball. Year one was rough. Every year after that, we were like, oh, and we had a down year last year. Nobody's down on Bruce.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. Harsin can do that. We'll give him that same rope as fans. Smart fans will. Right?
Listen, we're towards the end of the show, but we got some business we need to handle. Listen, we got 160 plus people watching with us live.
Yeah.
If you have not done so yet, and you want to get that giveaway, that Bo Jackson baseball card, you need to put hashtag GOATRB in the comments so that you can be in the list of names who can potentially win a retro Bo Jackson baseball card. Okay.
This thing
go ahead and do that now.
All
All right, don't be in your feelings because you didn't win and you didn't enter that in the comments. Do it now because we're about to do the drawing. All right, do the necessary. I'm being your friend right now for those who haven't done it. I saw some of you guys, you typed it, but you didn't hashtag it. Hashtag it GOAT RB. All right, for Bo Jackson being the greatest of all times. All right.
Yeah, I gotta say we have the best community, Auburn community on the internet. To be able to do small things like this for you guys is a blessing for me because I see you guys out there. I'm active on social media, and I got to tell you, I don't know if Jeb Shaner is in here, but Jeb, if you're here, I appreciate that his kind of leveled approach to arguing with dummies on social media about Auburn football. Man, Jeb is great, and you can tell he watches the show. Because we get to work a lot of ideas out on during the broadcast with guys like Jeb, who may not always agree with us, but always has kind of a sensible, hey guys, maybe consider this or look at this from this perspective. That's probably one of my favorite parts to this is learning from you guys as well too. So we appreciate our community and I'm glad that we're able to do some things like this for you guys. We'll be bringing you more in the future.
So, guys, of course, man, we can go on and on and on. I see some of y'all's questions where that's not lost on us. Listen, we're not going to be able to answer all your recruiting questions. Someone asked about, I think it was Risk No Reward, wanted us to talk about the linebacker out of Texas A&M. That is what Jeffrey Lee is there for this upcoming Wednesday on the live show. Bring that question with you. We'll bring that question as well. Make sure you don't, in case you don't ask, we will ask. We're going to throw all of our recruiting questions. And I've heard a lot of people talking about these names in terms of us getting additional people. What does that mean for the number of players Auburn can take in for his roster? Jeffrey Lee is going to answer all those questions and what Auburn is trying to do. So, guys, you definitely don't want to miss the Wednesday Night War Room this week because we're going to answer all those questions for you. Now, Ike, let's get to it.
All right, here we go. So y'all can see, I'm going to put it up here on the screen. We got 36 entries. So if you typed it wrong, we didn't get it in there. It ain't my fault. I ain't doing all this, but let's get to the drawing. Boom. Who is it going to be? A.U. Robinson. It is A.U. Robinson. All right, so here's how you are going to collect your card, sir. You need to email us at what is it? The War Report at gmail.com. The War Report at gmail.com. But you need to comment in the comment section. Make sure. Oh, there he is. Let's go. All right, cool. I wanted to make sure you were still out there. All right, so A.U. Robinson. The War Report at gmail.com. I know Spicy. I was about to say Spicy Penguin, and they flipped that one last time. I was like, oh! But yeah, so hit us on the email address with your mailing address so that we can get that over to you, and we will send that card out in the mail. Once again, thank you so much to the sponsor of this. We just got to make sure we shout him out one more time. This is our guy right here, Risk No Reward. He has the Delaney's _Dirt Road Outfitters on eBay. The Dirt Road Outfitters on eBay gave us these to give away to you, right? So he just was like, hey, I want to do something for the people in this community that has been coming up here, showing up with the War Report. And we were like, dope. He sent us the cards. We're giving them to y'all. We're not keeping any of them. He gave us cards to give away. We're giving all of them away. We have kept not a single one of these things, and we're giving them all to you guys. So yeah. A.U. Robinson, we got you, bro.
Oh, hey, I know, Spicy. I know. You were so...
Isn't that how raffles go, though, right? They're reading the number on the ticket, and you get to the last number, and it's like 8, and you're, so close, so close.
We feel your pain, my brother. We feel your pain, man. Well, Mike G, man, before we end, man, tell people what we got coming up, man.
Oh man, listen, we got lots of content coming for you guys. So again, I appreciate our community. We are bringing you a lot of content here in the off season. So what does that mean? It means become an insider so you can get access. We are adding content And if you are an insider, we have more content that will be dropping for you in the coming weeks and months that will be insider only. So if you have doubted our ability to be able to bring you interviews and access, don't. Because we're doing that right now. You can also support us by, hitting our GoFundMe. We have partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to help save an animal and, find them homes and improve somebody's quality of life. So, we've rescued. We encourage you to rescue. And if you cannot rescue, this is how you can help somebody else find a rescue. So 50 cents on every dollar goes to the Lee County Humane Society to help them with their mission. The other 50 goes to our channel to help us grow our platform to continue to support them. So either way, you're helping them. But this is how who we've chosen to partner with. We appreciate you guys so far who have gone over there and donated. I've been very humbled by the rush of donations that we've gotten so far just in the few days that we've started this. Wednesday night, Caesar mentioned Jeffrey Lee is coming on to talk recruiting with us. So TJ Finley, I'm sure we'll get some news between now and then, but Finley, Kaufman, all these guys we've been talking about, he's going to give us the scoop on where we stand with that. Josh Payton Ryu is still live. This is such a good listen. A lot of you commented that it was the best interview that we've done. I'm not sure that I can argue with that. I can tell you it won't be the best that we will have done because we're bringing you guys more of this consistently. So Josh Pay offered his unbiased, filtered view of Auburn, where Auburn football has been, where they're at, where they're going to be. You don't want to miss this interview if you haven't already seen it. So please go take a look at that. Share that on social media. And then tomorrow, for everybody who is not an insider, we are dropping our interview with Auburn football's Associate Athletic Director and Football Chief of Staff, Bradley Larondo. Brad has been with Carson for a decade, and he knows the man who is our coach, can speak to his character and can speak to the culture that they're really trying to build in our program, now that Harsin is on board. So Brad Larondo building a program that debuts for everybody at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. You don't want to miss that interview. Stay tuned. We've got a lot of really exciting things coming you guys' way here as the season approaches. So I always tell my friends, this is like one of the worst time for sports because basketball is about to end. Football is still months away, right? And, if you're a baseball fan, I apologize, but baseball doesn't really do it for me. So, it's a tough time for sports fans until August gets here. So being able to come here and talk to you guys definitely helps us pass the time until football season starts because it is the longest off season of any sport.
Yeah.
Nobody takes more time off than football between their championship and the beginning of the next season. So this is fun to be able to do. Looking forward to joining you guys next season as we get started into the 2021 football journey.
You're muted, Caesar.
And if you know of anyone out there who is yearning for football content, just like Mike G, and you're not a baseball fan, and you're not sure what they do with the Olympics this summer, and you just want some football content and Auburn content, we're going to be out here. Let them know. Share this video. Share our videos. Add us at The War Report on Twitter. Use hashtag TWR Tailgate. Hashtag get your weight up. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, those hashtags will carry. They're associated with us, so people will know when you hashtag and get your weight up, you're thinking about The War Report. Please let people know that we're out here putting out great content like this on a weekly basis throughout the week so that you guys can get your football fix even in the off season. Guys, please be sure to like and subscribe. Like our video, subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already. You can find us on social media. We're tweeting regularly and we're on Instagram posting regularly. You can find us at The War Report, Instagram and Twitter. We are TW Report on TikTok. We're signing off, but we won't be long. We'll see you guys later in the week during our War Rooms special with Jeffrey Lee. But until then, guys, have a great week. And War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.